adaptation to the bioclimatic building envelope. The BioLite adaptation was decided to be integrated in the project as hospitals are known for its extensive use of energy. With the BioLite adaptation, the use of extensive energy will be reduced. On the patient side, this will result in a faster health recovery by influencing their circadian system in a positive way, which is one of the major elements of patient recovery. The project is needed because in the whole province of Northern Samar, there are only 10 hospitals, with 4 of it being situated in Katarman. And the average bed capacity of these 4 hospitals only account to 151 beds and are still on the level 1 status, which only provide basic healthcare services and immediate care, which is very inadequate in addressing the needs of its populace, especially if it needs advanced and specialized medical services, resulting to a rising rate of morbidity and mortality cases within the province of Northern Samar. If pursued, the project will be the second tertiary level within the region, and if pursued, the establishment of Katarman Medical Center will aid in the provision of healthcare services to the population of 600,000 individuals by the existing health facilities of the province. The study will be conducted to determine the effects of BioLite adaptation in a bioclimatic building envelope for a tertiary level hospital. Specifically, it seeks answers to the following. Number 1. What are the effects of the passive solar system in a healthcare setting? Number 2. What are the effects of a bioclimatic envelope in the efficiency of a healthcare facility? And number 3. What appropriate design and materials will be integrated in the planning of the facility in order that BioLite adaptation will be achieved? This study aims to develop a plan for Katarman Medical Center that will provide an efficient tertiary level hospital and provide faster health recovery for the patients. Specifically, it seeks to determine the effects of the passive solar system in a healthcare setting, find out the impact of bioclimatic envelope on the efficiency of healthcare facility, and find appropriate design and materials that will be integrated in the planning of the facility in order that BioLite adaptation will be achieved. The study will provide energy-efficient tertiary-level healthcare facility that is capable of minimizing the extensive use of energy within the facility and reducing the amount of time that the patients will spend being admitted in the hospital. Specifically, the following will benefit the most from the project. Patients. This will help them to have a faster health recovery, thereby lessening their hospital stay, which will result in cutting off the cost of bills. Workers and staff. The study will provide a healthy and stress-free workplace for our staff and workers in the hospital. Architects. The findings of the study will help them innovate building plans when designing future facilities. Hospital administrators. This will make them appreciate the architectural design of BioLite adaptation in making their healthcare facility efficient, and environmental advocates, which will give them information that such architectural facilities can be environment compliant. The conceptual framework will have a three variables, namely the independent variable, which is the bioclimatic building envelope, or the input, the dependent variable as BioLite adaptation, or the process, and lastly, the output, which is the medical center. The bioclimatic building envelope will act as the instrument able to perform the process, which is the BioLite adaptation, that will define its effects within the healthcare setting and on what is the appropriate design in achieving the faster health recovery within the patient and the efficiency of the building, which will be concluded to the medical center as its output. The theoretical framework was anchored to the following theories: exploring design principles of bioclimatic architecture and double-skin facades as convincing tool for energy saving. This theory shows that bioclimatic building is equivalent to the double-skin facade system, which both considers natural elements such as natural lighting, passive ventilation, and thermal comfort within the building. The next one is the energy-efficient building design in the context of building life cycle, which discusses the different cycles of buildings and that natural energies should be introduced as early as the start of the building life cycle, which is the pre-building phase. Impacts of daylight on improving healing quality in patient rooms. which shows that artificial lighting and physical problems as compared to the natural lighting, more healthier and cheaper. And lastly, the influence of daylight and artificial light on the circadian system, length of stay and pain levels of hospital patients, which is the theory about the effects of the natural lighting on human body compared to the effects of artificial lighting. For the research design process, this was derived from Riddle's summary of design process. The following case studies were reviewed to further understand what are the biolight adaptation in healthcare setting and on how to design a bioclimatic building. These case studies are Massachusetts General Hospital and Southern Philippines Medical Center for the general planning, Salmon Creek Medical Center for the biolight adaptation, and Providence Newberg Medical Center for the bioclimatic building. As for the related literatures, the major literatures that was reviewed was the guideline in the planning and designing of a hospital and other health facilities by DOH. This will be the basis of the planning and designing of the proposed project through the stated standards and guidelines. Another one is the hospital lighting and patient's health, by which is reviewed to gain knowledge on the planning and designing with natural lighting and its effects on the human body, specifically the circadian system, which is one of the major elements on patient recovery. The significance of the lighting determining interior environmental quality that is reviewed to gather information regarding the proper form orientation of the building and knowledge on using the sun paths as factor of design. And the last one, the bioclimatic architecture, which is reviewed to gain knowledge on how to design a bioclimatic building appropriately that, that will be supporting the adaptation of biolight. For the site criteria, the following criteria are rated from 1 being the lowest to 5 being the highest. The major criteria are location and access, which is equivalent for 30%. The location area should be accessible within 15 to 30 minutes of travel time with service zone radius of 25 kilometers, which will be rated as the highest. Lot size or lot area for equivalent of 30%, which the recommended standards vary from 1.25 to 4 hectares per 100 beds for the rating of 5, and the topography with the equivalent of 20%, which should be free from dangers of flooding and must therefore not be situated at the lowest point of the district. For the minor criteria, the equivalent of 10%, public utilities should have an access to the basic utility requirements such as water and electricity, which can be substituted by deep wells for water and generator for electricity if not available. And lastly, the nuisances for the equivalent of 10%. The site location should be free from nuisances areas and industrial development areas which can cause negative impacts to the proposed project. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Agus, for your presentation. We can now start with our evaluation. Architect Inocencio.
Nakamute po kay Sir Ped. Nakamute. Yan.
Sir, nagli-lip sync ka. Mr. Ivan Ago, your project, is it a government project?
Yes po, government po.
Anong po ng,
Ganon.
it is in Katarman, Northern Samar. In your research, has there been a mention about how you mitigate the ganon. how you mitigate the effects of typhoons, because Katarman is in the typhoon path in Region 8, which is eastern part of the eastern seaboard of the Philippines facing the Pacific. Has there been any mention that you're going to address that particular concern, especially the location of your project?
Yung sa typhoon po, hindi po na-mention exactly yun regarding sa typhoon. Bale, focus lang po talaga sa hospital facilities.
Pero sa objectives mo, di ba may objectives ka na? Hindi
Yes,
ba
po.
part ng objectives mo yon na, I mean, the location being in the typhoon belt here in the Philippines, it must be a primary concern for you since this is also a hospital. Remember that hospital should be the last structure standing in case of calamities and disasters. The reason why I ask, kasi nga, I know that Katarman is in the typhoon belt here in the Philippines. So that should be, I suppose, a part of your general objectives as far as the project is concerned. Mr. Agus, what is your reaction?
Okay ba? Include ko po sa as objectives, as one of objectives po.
So, is this a government project?
Yes po. Government
Project. So, so Katarman, what kind of project? Is Katarman a city? What kind of locality is Katarman? A city? A first-class municipality?
First-class municipality po.
Anong population niya?
600,000 po.
600,000. So it's a first-class municipality. Anong annual income niya?
Nasa first income class po.
Ha?
First income class.
First income class, which covers a period, it covers a certain figure as far as the income is concerned. How much does it earn in a year? Let's say, is it 300 to 500 million a year?
Not that sure po.
You're not that sure because that would be part later on of your financing. Even if it is going to be a national undertaking, what kind of hospital? It is a medical center, or is it a district hospital, a general hospital?
General hospital po.
General hospital and medical center. So, yan ba ay statutory laws? Meron ba yang batas na paghuhugutan to justify its proposal?
Yung sa House Bill po.
May House Bill siya.
Apo.
Ilang reading na siya?
Approve na po yung House Bill.
Approve na yung House Bill. Sino nag-sponsor? Yung congressman to where Katarman is classified into sa district. Did you read have you read the House Bill?
Yes po.
O sino ang nag-propose niyang bill na yan? Yung bang congressman na representative ng district to where Katarman is located?
Si Florencio Gabriel Noel po.
Yun nga, yung kanilang congressman. So approve na yan. Approve
Yes,
na yung batas na yan. So, may allocation ba sila according to the law? Kung binasa mo yung law, yung House Bill, may naka-stipulate pa doon na amount ng funding niyan for the construction of the hospital?
Wala pong exact amount, pero nakasabi lang po na na parang yung DOH po yung magpo-fund Therefore, ng
DOH ang magpapund.
Opo.
So, DOH ang magre-request sa Department of Budget and Management. I mean, DOH sa magpo-propose ng budget niya na ikakarga nila sa annual budget nila sa House hearing ng budget.
Yes po.
Meron bang timetable yan?
Ano
Kailan
po yun
tatayo?
kasi? Di ko po narinig, sir.
Hindi mo marinig?
Hindi ko po narinig yung question.
May timetable ba sila kung kailan itatayo yung hospital na yan? Kung approve na yung batas?
Sa bill po, wala naman po nakalagay kung hanggang kailan yung timetable ng construction po ng bill.
So it would be dependent doon sa sa budgetary proposal ng Department of Health. Ganon. Okay. So meron kang justification because it is covered by a statutory law, and then it is going to be general hospital in Katarman. So, is it only for the municipality of Katarman or for the district? Kasi you have to you have to qualify kasi ang ina-approve niya, ang classification ng hospitals kagaya niyan, it is a government hospital. Kasi kung iyan sa Katarman, hindi yan pwedeng gawing ang budgeting niyan ay pang provincial hospital because Northern Samar has its own provincial general hospital. Lahat ng probinsya may general hospital at the provincial level. Ngayon, kung magtatayo ka ng hospital in a certain locality, it must be something that it is being carried out considering the whole district to where it is located. Halimbawa, District 1, 2, 3, 4. Kagaya dito sa Manila, sa District 6 to where Santa Mesa is, the district hospital here is not located in Santa Mesa but in Santa Ana because Santa Ana is part of the district. Ganun ba mangyayari dyan? Kasi kung ikaw lang ang naglagay ng pangalang Katarman Medical Center, that would be questionable unless it is stipulated in the law. Naka-stipulate pa sa law yung pangalan ng ospital?
Yes po, to be known as Katarman Medical Center po.
Katarman Medical Center.
As it's yung function niya po is tertiary level general hospital po.
Okay. So maybe it is also on that particular district level simply because that Katarman is also a booming municipality or LGU in that part of the country. Okay, that would be my initial question. Other members of the panel can now ask you. You can now ask your questions, or you can pitch in your questions for the betterment of the proposal as well as for the better understanding of certain areas that needs to be clarified in the proposal.
Ma'am Sampan, kayo po muna. Ladies first.
Okay.
Nauna na yung pinaka-lady eh. Kaya sunod, next lady.
Sige.
Wala ka po.
Dali lang.
Oo.
Your title, is...
What is it?
Achieving Biolight Adaptation in a Bioclimatic Building Envelope. Can you further explain yung bioclimatic building envelope? Because I think, did you just coin the term? Or meron kang
Parang based po sa bioclimatic architecture po.
Oo, pero if you will define the bioclimatic building envelope, I don't really, wala kasi akong makitang definition ng bioclimatic building envelope, pero alam ko merong bioclimatic architecture.
Yes.
Now, if you look at the definition of bioclimatic envelope, it refers to ecologically. It's a niche of microorganisms, which has, of course, contribution to the ecological or the system of the environment. So hindi ko ano kung paano mo, kaya nga tinatanong ko if you coined the term bioclimatic building envelope.
Yes. Through
So,
bali yung bali yung bioclimatic building envelope parang yung yung envelope po ng building is i-apply ko rin yung bioclimatic architecture po through to allow the process po of biolight adaptation.
Pero kasi ano ba yung climate? Kasi ang sinasabi mo lang is all about lighting, daylighting. Pero when you talk about bioclimatic architecture, hindi lang siya. So ibig sabihin, nakafocus ka lang doon?
Yes po. As one of elements of bioclimatic architecture po, yung daylighting po. Maximize use of daylighting.
Oo. But you defined it in your book, yung bioclimatic building and specifically. Hindi ko, I don't know kung paano mo, yung sa title kasi.
Separate yung bioclimatic architecture po yung na-define po.
Oo. Pero yung bioclimatic building envelope, kasama rin kasi sa title mo yan eh. Hindi kaya confusing yan. Oo. Kasi ang ano natin dito, baka yung sa pag-change mo na naman later ng title, at least as early as now, makikita mo na kung paano mo pagtatahiin yung sa title mo, which is all about bioclimatic.
Okay.
Nag-freeze na si ano. Agus. Nag-freeze na siya.
Ay.
Ayan.
Okay po, ma'am.
So, paano natin gagawin yung title mo?
Siguro through bioclimatic architecture na lang po. Para mas defined po yung po.
Kasi kahit tingnan mo, di ba, wala namang bioclimatic building envelope. Unless, ikaw yung magde-define nun. So, yun. And then, comments lang doon sa pagsa-citation ng mga, parang kompletong-kompleto yung webpage doon sa RRL, sa paano ba gagawin yung citation na yun? Pakiayos mo yun.
Okay po.
Tapos, okay din naman na meron kang below 5 years ng RRL, pero mas mainam kung meron yung medyo mas advanced, like 5 years from now. Para kasi yung mas tawag dito, up to date yung mga data at saka information na makukuha mo.
Yes po. Okay po.
Although, yes, we know that hospital is very kailangan ngayon. So, wala namang question dyan sa na kailangan talaga natin ng hospital. Pero yun lang ang concern ko, yung sa title. Okay. Sir Ray. Sir Raven.
Okay po. Okay, so tanong ko naman with regards to the statement of the problem. Kasi medyo na-focus ka lang sa skin ng building. No? Kasi nilalagay mo rito, the study will be conducted to determine the effect of biolight adaptation in bioclimatic building envelope for tertiary level hospital. But you mentioned earlier that yung facilities ang solutions, or the medical center itself is the solution for the problem. So you have to state clear of your statement of the problem. Ano ba talaga yung problema? Bakit kailangan maglagay ng medical center?
Okay.
Kasi puro then yung sub-problems mo, what are the effect of passive solar system in the healthcare setting? So puro skin I don't see the idea of, or the problem setting mo, statement of the problem is related to hospital.
Okay.
I think you need to adjust that thing, no? You need to improve to where it will relate to a hospital project.
Okay po.
Ano ba ibig mo sabihin ng passive solar system in healthcare setting?
Yung use
Lalabas
po
na tayo sa Kalawakan or hospital na pang Kalawakan?
Yung use po ng natural lighting po sa facility po. maximizing
it is
para
more
sa
of
patients.
treatment of the building yon, facade.
Uh,
Lumalabas, not the treatment of the hospital.
treatment of the building itself po, but which will reflect to the patients po.
So how do you relate your medical center there? Paano ba yun? Anyway, you have to improve that statement of the problem. Kasi binabasa ko dito, yung mga yung objectives, I saw the objectives as mentioned earlier by Architect Inocencio na you have the objectives but hindi magkaka-relate eh.
Okay.
Then justification. So pang ilang hospital na siya sa Katarman? And what are the hospital na nando sa Katarman?
Yung
Existing ngayon.
yung existing po. Yung apat po as mentioned kanina. Yung Katarman Doctors Hospital.
Anong level na nila? Anong mga level na?
Level 1 po. Yung Northern Samar Provincial Hospital po. Nag-level 2 pero na-downgrade po sa level 1 ulit kasi sa facilities po may problema. Parang lack of facilities po.
Okay.
Then yung Leoncio po, Leoncio Medical, yung hospital po. Level 2 po.
Ayan yung mga nasa Samar, nasa Katarman
Yes,
Island?
yung sa Samar, yung sa Katarman lang po.
Katarman lang yon.
Opo. Then yung Our Lady of Faith po. Level 1 po.
Level 1. So this will be the first na magtatayo ngayon ng level 3
Level 3
hospital ang target mo for the Katarman.
Agus, lahat ba ng hospital na yan ay government hospital or public hospital?
Dalawa po private, dalawa government.
Huwag mong isasama ang private kasi hindi affected yan. Ang anuhin mo lang is yung government, public hospital.
Public hospital.
Yes.
Oo. So may dalawang public sa Katarman Island
Yes.
na level 1. And this will be the first na magiging your proposal natumba yung niya screen. This will be the first level 3 hospital that you're proposing, the Katarman Medical Center. Sa bill ba may nakalagay na budget ang Congress?
Wala yung budget, wala pong nakasaad kung ilan yung budget, pero sinabi lang po kung sino yung mag-budget, which is yung DOH po.
Yun lang ang sinabi, walang target no kung ano. Sige. Yun lang po muna, Sir Ted.
Yung yung case studies mo ng mga hospitals, meron bang hospitals doon that are located in a tropical country like the Philippines?
Yung Southern Philippines po, Medical Center.
Southern Philippines Medical Center.
Yes.
Case studies of medical center located in a country outside the Philippines, in a tropical country outside the Philippines, having the same features or intent about your proposal, which is a hospital design using bioclimatic architecture.
Yung sa tropical country po, wala po. Nag-focus lang po ako sa facility po mismo.
But ours is a tropical country. Might as well that I suggest that you look for a case study of a medical center located in a tropical country outside the Philippines, having the same or similar intention as yours.
Yes.
Para inang huhugutan mo ng ibang wisdom mo regarding how to design a medical center, having those objectives being fulfilled in the creation of its design solution.
Yes. Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Yun lang ang question ko. Yun ang aking final question. Kasi mayroong nagsabi sa chat box na 5 minutes na lang. Kanina pa actually, ano na yata.
Actually, times up na po yung nakalagay na huli dito sa chat box. Times up na po for question and answer.
Meron ba kayo ibang question, sir?
Okay na po, wala na po.
Ma'am Sampal.
Okay na po, Sir Ted.
So, paano rin may jury deliberation dito?
Meron din pa.
Okay.
Meron.
So, Architect Abita, may we request that you ask the
Tech team, paki ano ng ano.
Asan siya?
Yan, si Agus Ivan.
Okay. Mr. Agus, your jurors has deliberated on the merits of your proposal, but also we discussed on the merits of your proposal, meaning to say the things that you should have included here in your study clearly, stating the real purpose and intent of your study. So we deem it necessary for you to delve mainly on bioclimatic architecture, no? Yun ang main vehicle mo sa iyong research topic. But then it would graduate into the use of external facade treatment that would help contribute much in the understanding about how bioclimatic architecture can have an impact on a building, specifically medical center. That's the reason why we are asking you to have case studies or review of related literature that has to do with bioclimatic architecture, case studies of medical centers which are located in tropical countries and having similar features as your intention for the project of using bioclimatic architecture, especially on the building facade. So we're looking into that. There is much more wanting when it comes to the research part of this project. Also, you have to clarify certain things that has to do with your statement of the problem and to make it more appear the validity. So the jurors has come up with the verdict that you may continue your thesis and you should learn how to look into all the various aspects, views, and purviews of how to deal with such a proposal later on. Okay?
Thank you po, sir.
So, Mr. Agus, you get it's a yes for me. It was a yes for architect.
It's yes for me. So parang
Yes.
ano lang America's Got Talent.
Tayo.
Yes.
It's a yes for me, architect Sampan. So you get three big yeses.
Yes.
You may continue doing your work. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pero walang golden buzzer yan, ha?
Okay, thank you.
Isa lang.
Yes lang.
Oh,
Isa lang po
magkukuha ba
ito.
siya? Mag ano yun? Screenshot ba siya? Parang photo ops?
Photo op, souvenir.
Mr. Agus, mag-screenshot ka ba?
Yan. Okay, tech team, the screenshot for records.
Okay po, sige. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Ito ba po? Ito po. 1, 2, 3. Okay na po.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, isa lang po itong estudyante nyo ngayon.
Yes, isa lang. Mag-isa lang ngayon.
Okay. Sige,
Bukas
po yung
Wednesday.
marami.
Marami. Oo.
Okay, sige po.
Yeah, thank you very much sa lahat. Thank you very much, Mr. Agus. Then, congratulations.
Thank you po.
Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Pasensya na, mahinang internet ko, inaayos ko pa.
Saan po ba
Bye-bye.
tayo? Sa lobby?